Before we start today's video, I just want to let you guys know I'm going to be giving away a few copies of the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. So if you're not already, go follow me on my Instagram, my Twitter, and in my Discord server, and there I'm going to be announcing the giveaways very soon. Your chance to win a free game, go follow me there. So today I'm covering a bit of news in the gaming industry that's going to give us some insight into what's happening with Jedi 3, the third game in the Jedi series from Respawn Entertainment, and also potentially a new Star Wars game beyond that from another studio. If you remember, back in September last year, the big announcement came that Stig Asmussen, who was the lead game developer on both Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, was leaving EA and Respawn altogether, which brought about some concern about the third Jedi game, considering he was the driving force behind why they were such good games. Stig Asmussen was not only responsible for the types of games these were, being the third-person action-adventure and Metroidvania-style games, but also had a huge input and direction of the story and the plot of these games, and the development of Cal Kestis as a character. I'm going to go out and say that Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor are some of the best Star Wars storytelling we've had since Disney bought the license. I put them up there with Rogue One and Andor. Well, finally, there's a new announcement today revealing what Stig Asmussen is up to, which could also hint at what is happening with Jedi 3. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Honestly, this news has me a little bit concerned about Jedi 3, but I'm going to go through what's happening first and then give my thoughts on what's happening with the third Jedi game in Respawn series. So Stig Asmussen has just announced that he has a new studio that's going to make a AAA narrative-driven single-player action-adventure game. So basically the same style of game as Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor, but now at his own studio. But also the thing is, he's brought several lead developers from Respawn who worked on the previous Jedi games to his new studio, meaning that it wasn't only him that left the studio, it's a few others as well. Stig Asmussen's new studio is called Giant Skull, and their goal is to build a true AAA single-player action-adventure game that is premium. But the thing is, this new studio sounds like it's building a template-style game that could be morphed or transformed into any game eventually, and potentially even take on a license like Star Wars. This could be a new Star Wars game, and we just don't know about it yet, or they're just not ready to make that jump yet. Just do it! And Stig, in an interview with IGN, said, "I can't underscore enough that mystery and intrigue is a huge part of what we're doing. We want our players to have a certain degree of autonomy and ownership in the game and agency as they're playing it. We want to make a game that has a momentum to it, that you want to keep on playing it. And we respect our players. We want to create real, authentic worlds that don't feel random. They feel like there's a rich history and that there's thought behind them." And I feel like that definitely applies to some of the worlds of the Jedi games, specifically for me, Jedi Fallen Order, which had the better planets, especially a planet like Bogano. There felt like there was a rich ancient history there, and the backstory lore that had to do with the Zepho and the temples and the tombs. It feels like they developed so much history for these places, each of them being so mystical in their own way, and it seems like they're going to be building similar worlds in a similar style of game at Giant Skull. But why would Stig Asmussen leave Respawn? I personally was really surprised when he did. I met him at an event last year in LA. He was a lovely guy, took the time to talk to me, answer a bunch of questions I had, and also just chat about everyday stuff, to be honest. It was a really cool conversation. And he seemed really happy and proud and passionate of what they'd created at Respawn. He seemed like a passionate Star Wars fan as well, someone who's so invested in creating narratives in the Star Wars universe. He said, "Honestly, it's not something that I was looking for." He wasn't looking to leave. "I was very happy at Respawn. I love the team, love the studio, EA was great. It was more just I was approached with a really interesting opportunity. And it started to be like a little kernel in my brain. Wow, what would it be like to start my own studio? It was something that was incredibly enticing." So it sounds like Stig was just brought a new offer. Someone had clearly seen what he developed with the two Jedi games, also probably knew about his prior history working on the God of War series, the old games, not the newer franchise, and decided to make him an offer that he potentially couldn't refuse.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
And I think this is where this news gets really exciting, because it sounds like he's really passionate about the new project they're building, and it could potentially become something we really want to see. He was asked about the fact he just walked away from working on one of the biggest brands, being Star Wars in the world, a licensed game, and if that means we should expect Giant Skull's first game to be a new original IP, something that the studio has completely made up themselves. But he said he's leaving the door open for any possibility. "I wouldn't rule anything working out. We have a very clear vision on the type of game that we're going to make, and that's playing to the strengths of myself. Single player focused, third person action adventure, gameplay driven, that's seamlessly integrated into a compelling narrative, which is exactly what the Jedi games are. Those are the main pillars of our criteria. If there was an opportunity, we have a lot of experience with licensed games, obviously, but it is very compelling to make an original IP as well. We can flex in either direction. So with a statement like this, it sounds like either he has already been made an offer that he's just not telling us about, and that whatever this game is that Giant Skull are working on could be something that's already licensed and part of Star Wars or part of another franchise. He could have already been approached, especially considering his pedigree, having built the two Jedi games. Probably two of the most successful action-adventure single-player games of the last decade.
Poncho.
We do know that whatever Giant Skull is currently working on is being developed in Unreal Engine 5, which is no surprise really. The two Jedi games were also built in Unreal Engine, and we also know that a bunch of staff members who previously worked at Respawn are now working here. Apparently there's about 30 people currently working at Giant Skull, many of whom were veterans of Star Wars Jedi and also Fortnite, who have a lot of experience with Unreal Engine as well. There seems to be a lot of freedom at this studio. He said the main goal is to build an environment where people can come and collaborate and make something that's going to ship. It's up to the individual. We'll support whatever you need. We can approach people on an individual basis. If you want to work from home all the time in another part of the world, that's totally fine. But also if you want to come into the studio, that's also fine. Jedi Survivor was mostly a COVID game. It was built during COVID and was worked on largely remotely, I think, up until the latter stages of the game. So clearly this studio knows how to handle that style of game, and there's a lot of freedom when it comes to working here. It sounds like a good working environment, so I think we can expect to see good things. Stig Asmussen's reputation in the video game industry is largely positive as far as I know, and he's very well respected as a leader. So it sounds like the company is going to have a good work ethic and is hopefully going to deliver something that's really exciting. I mean, single player third person action adventure with the potential to be licensed as a Star Wars game. There's no guarantees on the Star Wars thing, obviously, that's just completely speculative. But the fact they're saying they're open to it makes me think Lucasfilm could potentially come in with an offer to develop a new Star Wars game through this studio, especially considering their prior experience working with Stig on the Jedi games.
Do it.
There was also another statement released by Giant Skull saying, "We want our players to join us on every step of this amazing journey as we pave the way for our upcoming game." I don't know what that means about joining them on every step of the journey. They're going to be sharing things in advance about what they're building. That's exciting to see. We're creating something special, and we've been fortunate enough to assemble an incredible team of developers who are extremely passionate and experienced in creating genre-defining third-person action-adventure games. Now, Giant Skull have also created a website which is kind of weird because it contains a bunch of cryptic messages in a chat. You can basically chat here. System ready. Okay. Game. Transported. Becoming. Exhilaration. Team. Creators of the collective dream. I've tried a bunch of things here. So for example, if I write Star Wars, it says command denied. Giant Skull. Reach, root, nebula, screech, breadth, adapt, return. What does that even mean? Does someone want to decode that? Is it a bunch of garbage? There's a bunch of others that work I've seen. Concept? Yeah, let's write concept. The 9th month, the year is irrelevant. The work begins. A vision draws. The one to the many. A vision not yet seen but known. Like, what am I reading? Is this the plot for their new game? Can you imagine if this was actually Star Wars and there's some hidden message in here about the type of Star Wars game it's going to be? A mind storm set forth anchored by creed, vision, curiosity, respect. The exploration is vast, infinite paths. 90 days. The first month. The year is irrelevant. A concept ignites, the work begins, the vision known will be seen. The vision known. So they clearly know what they're doing. They know what they're working on, and it will be delivered based on this. That's exciting. Don't know what this means. Pretty cool though that they've gone to the effort of creating this, and I'm really excited for the future of this studio and to see what they end up delivering. What do you think this new game from Giant Skull is going to be? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget about my giveaways on Instagram, Twitter, and Discord. Come follow me on those. And if you want to learn more about the Battlefront Classic Collection, I answered 50 of your questions in this video here. You can watch that here. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.